What's going on, guys? Today is Thursday the 11th. I have been slacking on the videos because I've been slacking on trading. I haven't really been taking anything. Ever since Tuesday, I haven't really taken anything. Monday, I also didn't take anything, so I've only taken one trade this week. But let's go ahead and pull up the P&L for this week. This is the P&L for this week so far. Up around 15,376. Made around 1,500 on each of the accounts. Pretty good, pretty good. It was a solid, beautiful. Oh my god. This. Words cannot explain how good this fucking trade was. I'm going to go ahead and jump into Tuesday's session. I'm going to completely skip over Monday because I didn't even look at the charts on Monday. I didn't trade. I didn't do anything on that day. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into Tuesday. Hopping on the 4 hour, what do we see? We have this 4 hour imbalance. I'm obviously only going to look for a short here. I'm not interested in any sort of long. Now, I'm going to mark out my fib. This is incorrect, okay? Why is this incorrect? This is not the range that I want to look at here, okay? Let's look at from down close to up close is your range on that specific time frame. So, down close to the first up close. If we zoom in right here, what do we see? Down close to this up close, this gets rebalanced already. So this is no longer the range we're interested in. So let's mark it new from this down close to this up close. And what do we see? This candle rebalances, so we're not interested. Bang, bang, this range gets taken out, we're not interested. New, bang, bang, this isn't rebalanced. So what do? We move on to the next up close candle, or the low of this range. And we see that we have tapped into EQ. Alright, we have tapped into the EQ of this range. This range has been rebalanced. I expect lower. Now, if we take out this high, I still expect lower. Why is that? Just simply because this high is inside of this 4 hour, meaning if this high were to get swept, it'd be, you know, a new protected high. I terribly spelled that. Wow. So this would be our new protected high if this high inside this PD array gets swept. Now, as far as the fib goes, I would still use this fib just because we have not broken out of this range. So you can still use the fib. Yes, we have tapped into EQ. Yes, we have technically rebalanced, but we have not broken out of that range at the low. So it is still the same 4 hour range. We can still use the same fib tool. We can still wait for the same OTE or retracement in this area, which also lines up with that 4 hour bearish gap. If we drop onto the 1 hour as well, there's some other ones. There's this 1 hour up here that lines up with OTE pretty nicely. I'm just basically looking for shorts. I understand that a long could play and it could present itself, but I'm gonna wait for the short because I guarantee you this low is not the final low. Now that we got that out the way, drop down to the 1 minute. I'm not going to even mark out any bullish PD arrays because that's not what I was interested in. Okay, so if we see New York opens up and we start heading lower, lower, and boom, we get a massive reversal. But let's just keep going. What do we see? Oh, we're kind of chopping around a little bit, but we're starting to look like we're rotating for higher. Okay, we're rotating for higher, but we have not really gotten any sort of confirmation. Okay, nice. We have made new highs. We are on our way to this OTE. At this point, I noticed this 5 minute change in the state right here. Notice this 5 minute gap. And I was looking for some sort of retracement into here. Bang. And then I was going to target OTE of this range. This was going to be my long after seeing us displace higher. So just go ahead and close this out. What do we see though? We're just still shooting higher. Boom. We get this. There's a 30-second inversion inside this play, as well as this massive reversal for lower. And price just starts melting, man. We melt right through this 5-minute. We melt right through the 5-minute change in the stay. I'm no longer interested in those. They have been disrespected. And what do we see on the 4-hour? We have put in this gigantic wick in the 4-hour, and we have swept out previous day's high. Sweeping out previous day's high, I am no longer interested in longs. We are rejecting from previous day high. I'm not interested in longs anymore. If we were to show bullish displacement and momentum beyond previous day high, yeah, then sure. I mean, it would make sense to look for a long, but we're not seeing that. So I'm not trading based off that thought processing or that thought pattern, whatever. Now we have this 4-hour bullish gap. Do I think this is going to be an issue for price? Bro, absolutely not. Do you not see the massive dump that we're in? Like, look at this. You really believe this little 4-hour is going to send us to all-time highs or something? I mean, yeah, sure, we respected this 4-hour, but that's inside this BPR. All right, we have this 4-hour BPR. This gets respected. We sweep liquidity, so why would you think that we're going to sweep liquidity again? We're obviously engineering this for later. Anyway, back on the lower time frame. No longer need this. No longer need this. We are rejecting. I'm looking for lower, and I'm not interested in anything like anything other than that. So 10 a.m. opens. What do we get? We get this inversion on 10 a.m. Now, the reason I didn't hop in on this, even though I'm a big 10 a.m. kind of guy, we just didn't tap into anything, man. We have this 5-minute sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. We barely miss that. We literally barely miss that. And we don't tap into it. We don't even tap into anything on the 3-minute. Literally nothing. Quite literally nothing. And yeah, price starts to just rip lower. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there was an SMT right here. So seeing this SMT and us inversing this gap, after this candle close, I could have entered and put my stop at the SMT high. But it's just not high probability, man. I've seen it fail more times than play out, but it is a case-by-case basis, obviously. But it just doesn't play out usually, so I wasn't confident of putting my risk on, especially when you got this 1-minute BPR. Anyway, we're tapping into this 4-hour. We got this London low, but what do we end up seeing happen? We just keep melting through, man. Like I said, this 4-hour is ridiculous to bank on. We got this Asia low. London low gets swept. Keep in mind, we are now down from the high 460 points. At this point, what am I doing? I start to eye previous day's low as the final draw. Okay? I think this could be our final draw, or at least one of the draws for lower. I just need some sort of entry. Boom, waiting. We tap into this 5-minute. We get this 1-minute inversion. And honestly, you could enter here, but I'll go ahead and explain why I didn't. Let's look at our range again. All right, boom, this gets rebalanced. So this is no longer a valid range. Boom, this doesn't get rebalanced. Still doesn't get rebalanced. Boom. This is our entire range. You see how far away we are from the 50%? I'm not interested in taking a short right here when we haven't even rebalanced this range. Could it play out? 100%. Would I want to be on side when this plays out or when this fails? Sorry, no, I wouldn't, because I know this is low probability. So, waiting, and it starts chopping like crazy, man. But, boom, we end up delivering. Now, again, I believe there's an SMT as well. Yeah, there's an SMT again between this high and this high. So after seeing this SMT, again, not ridiculous to enter on this candle close. or possibly some sort of 30-second inversion if there was one, and target the low, this Asia low. But at that point, your RR is kind of chalked. It's not really good. Let's look at what we could target lower. I'm still eyeing this previous day low. I'm not interested in any sort of bullish PD array to push us higher. I'm not even worried about it. What do we see after this SMT? Dude, we just melt down. We melt down. And there's this inversion right here. I'm not even going to talk about that. There's no reason you should be longing like this. Like, this is... Anyway, if you go to the 5-minute, we have two gaps that we could tap into. We have this one that's in discount, and we have this one that is in the premium of this price leg. We go from up close or from down close to the low, or first up close candle. We have this range that we are working with. Now, you might be wondering, why am I not marking my range out from this high like before? Well, that's because we have already put in a bearish order block, and we have respected this bearish PD array, meaning this swing point should be a protected high. And why would I not start my range from the protected high? Exactly. So you start from the protected high. So we have EQ right here, and we also have this 15-minute gap right here. I'll focus on the 15-minute for now. What do we see happen? We chop, we miss that gap. We miss the 15-minute by how many points? 13 points. We miss the 15-minute gap. We get this clean inversion. You could totally slap a short right here if we tapped into that 15-minute gap. We are also just barely a few ticks away from equilibrium. TP at the new AM low or extend to previous day low. This is great, but we just don't rebalance properly, so I don't get on side with this. And what do we see happen? We still kind of just chop around, and then we end up slowly delivering lower. Now, watch ES. If we look at the range that we made on ES, what do we see happen? ES does tap its 50%. ES does rebalance its range. That's one, all right? Now, if I'm not wrong, oh yeah, that was it. ES does rebalance its range. So ES does tag its 50%, and since ES is the correlating index, you no longer need NQ to rebalance its range. ES is already rebalanced. There's no reason for NQ to rebalance as well, which is why we see this trade play out. Ideally, if this did rebalance, if this did tap into the 15-minute, that would be even better, but it's not needed, okay? That's why you have breakaway gaps. That's why you have displacement gaps that don't get mitigated. It's because price rebalances before needing to enter that area. So this was a solid trade based on the sole fact that ES had already rebalanced and tagged into its 50%, and meaning it no longer needs to move into that 15-minute gap. Now, I didn't take that. I didn't look at ES tapping into its range. I should have, but I didn't. So at this point, still no trade. And again, we're going to mark our range out starting from this protected high. This should be our new protected swing high. Okay, so if you were in this short from this like 30-second or from the 10 a.m., you could move your stop into profit here and then now into here, but I still haven't traded, and we are very, very close to my draw. And what do we see happen? We kind of edge the draw, and then I'm pretty sure we deliver in a minute. Yeah, there we go. We ended up delivering full TP to this previous day low. Now I'm thinking, all right, it's chalked. There's nothing else to target. But when I see us, when lunch opens up like this, and I see us continue to melt lower, I think, okay, we're still chasing some lows. We're still hunting other lows. So I begin to look to the right. Okay, what do we have? We have this swing low. We have this swing low. We have this new day opening gap that has never been tapped. Never ever been tapped. This new day opening gap has never once been tapped, never once been tagged. So we have this new day opening gap that never gets tagged, and that's my final draw, this new day opening gap. Now, I understand I'm basically asking price to deliver like 1,600 points, but after Friday, that's not ridiculous, right? That's really not ridiculous. So I'm still confident in this being the final draw. I just need an entry, right? Can I just say, oh, short now and, with like 2 micros and be chill? No, man, you need a protected stop. I don't know where my protected stop would be besides, these 2 that we just left, right? So I'm waiting. Now, I completely missed this, and this is my bad, but we do get this 15-minute play right here. However, we are nowhere near rebalancing this range. And there's no inversion, so I just didn't take that. But obviously, this is our new protected high. So we are going to start our range from this high. What do we see? Okay, nice. We are taking out low after low after low. Now, let's keep looking, make sure we have the correct highs marked. Okay, here we go. We have a 5-minute gap right here. We have a 5-minute gap right here. And we also have this tiny 15-minute. I don't really feel like marking that out. I don't think it's going to be important. Let's look at our range. So we have this high to this low. What do I want to see? Ideally, I'd like to see price, rebalance up into here, possibly. But we shall see. Okay. Now, there is this 1-minute inversion right here coming out of this 5-minute. But let me delete some of these lows. We don't need them anymore. But as you can see, we are very far away from discount of this range. Now, ES, on the other hand, ES is moving a little different. All right. If we mark out our range, ES is pretty close to its 50%. All right. ES is pretty close. And what do we see ES do? Oh, ES, you have swept. You've swept liquidity inside bearish order flow and inside bearish displacement. You've swept liquidity inside. Oh, you're gonna close and make CRT so that I can target this low. Okay, nice. I like that. What is NQ doing? Oh, NQ, you didn't sweep this, and this is an SMT now. And there's a 30-second inversion in here at like 517. Okay, I will sell 3 micros. And I'll put my stop loss right here because this is the SMT'd high. And I'll put my TP at the new day opening gap. I mean, what more do you want? That's textbook. Yeah, we got 182 point candle in 1 minute, but bro, it's on my side. I don't care. This was textbook, all right? This was textbook. Now, the way I mark my ranges, we didn't rebalance fully, but if you decide to mark, the lunch range, then you see that NQ doesn't rebalance. But on our range from the lunch high to the lunch low, ES does rebalance this range and taps into OTE as well. So that's what makes this reasoning A+ for me. We have CRT on the 5-minute. We have bearish PD arrays being respected. We have a clear draw on liquidity. We have, trend trading. You're trading with the trend. You have OTE tapped on ES, you have an SMT, you have the inversion, you have displacement. You literally have every single thing on the checklist to make this a high probability setup. And it is a high probability setup because we banked crazy style, all right? And I literally called out that this new day opening gap was going to be low of day. I literally said this would be the low of day, this new day opening gap. And let's jump to, it is Thursday, right? It's currently Thursday. So I'm going to delete all this and I'm just going to leave the new day opening gap. And I'm going to show you how insanely easy this is and how none of this is really random. And this is all algorithmic movement. All right, keep in mind 28247. You know what, dude? Let's actually go back right here and let's buy. All right, let's buy. Let's put our stop at this low. No stop loss, okay? Let's let this run. Let this run on the 4 hour as well. Dude, what did I say? Literally low of day. Low of week. Low of week. We never come back down here and take this out. Asia gets close. We get pretty damn close, but we never take it out. Never ever take it out. And matter of fact, look at this right here. Look at this bullish news. This was planned. This was all planned to release. This is not random news. This is planned. If you look from the new day opening gap, we are up 1,051 points. Bro, this is not random. None of this is random. This all is calculated. It is all algorithmic. None of this is random. We're up 1,000 points from that new day opening gap, and I guarantee you we will start to see some sort of movement for all-time highs possibly. But that's about it. This is my second biggest day trading ever, and yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I hope you guys learned something about the fib tool and making sure that your correlated indices are moving the right way. Also understand that if one asset does something, then it does it for the both of them. You don't need both to rebalance. You don't need both to sweep liquidity. This is why we have SMTs, and this is why they work. But yeah, I'll see you guys.